Welcome to the Curtis World Podcast, where I talk about stories that are happening just right here in the United States, as well as other events across the world. But don't forget, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so that you can always be informed whenever I have information that you really don't want to miss. Hi, people ask me all the time, what's going on in the world? All of us, especially people over 30, you realize that things are happening throughout our country and throughout the world that we've never seen happen before. It's as if everyone has all of a sudden lost their minds. I'm going to spend a couple of podcasts explaining to you what's going on. It's called the Global Reset or the Great Reset, and some people even might call it the New World Order. I want to explain that to you because once you hear all of this information, you realize everything is planned. Nothing is just happenstance. These things that have been planned over a great period of time. But it sounds like a movie, but it's real. Billionaires, in their free time, they decide what they're going to do to you and to me. Most of us spend our free time relaxing because we've worked so hard, but you understand they're different from us. So this is what they have planned. This is a part of the New World Order that was written by the World Economic Forum, which is not, and people always think that's an official organization. It really isn't. All of these letter organizations mostly are billionaire organizations, and they give themselves these names and make them sound like they are taking care of the world and they're all official. They are not. Most of them are non-governmental organizations. You understand that. So anyway, in May of 2009, these billionaires got together and they decided that they needed to depopulate the world. Now, the problem is that we do not have overpopulation. And I'll let you listen to this first, and then I'm going to give you some statistics on world population.
In May 2009, on the initiative of Bill Gates, a small group of billionaires gathered at the Manhattan home of British biochemist and president of Rockefeller University, Sir Paul Nurse, to discuss how their enormous collective wealth could be used to solve the problem of overpopulation, in a meeting so discreet that some of the billionaires' aides were told they were at security briefings. Present at this highly secretive meeting were, among others, David Rockefeller, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett and Ted Turner, each of whom has, in the past, expressed a desire to significantly reduce the world's population.
The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident.
We've got to stabilize the population. When I was born, there were
so what's wrong with the population? I mean,
with too many people. That's why we have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff. But if there were less people, they'd be using less stuff.
Mr. Turner, I was wondering if you think it's a good idea to reduce 90% of the population because we are being overpopulated by a lot of...
90%.
80? Prince Philip said 80, sir. I go with 85.
I think 2 billion is about right.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. And then the final solution, which is a year to 2 years off, is the vaccine.
Just to head off the conspiracy theorists, maybe we shouldn't call the vaccine the final solution.
Now, let's just address one fact. Since they, if you listen to that, they will really make you think that we are overpopulated, and that's why they started the climate change thing. It was all a part, one of their schemes. And understand, you're talking about people with unlimited money. Plus, we found out since the Doge audit that most of the money that they were using was coming right from you and from me, U.S. taxpayers. That's right. We found out they had overtaken the U.S. Treasury, and they were using money from USAID, the U.S. Treasury itself, and other federal entities in order to fund this insanity that they were on. But anyway, as far as the facts, look at these facts. Overpopulation is really a myth. The entire world's population, which now is a little over about 8 billion, can fit in the entire state of Alaska. They made you think that everybody, we had to do something about it. You see all of these poor little kids, they're always out here protesting. If we don't do something about climate change and all of this, then we won't be able to live when we get there, when we get to be senior citizens. In Europe, they are having a fertility crisis because of this climate change scheme that the billionaire cult has projected over all of these years. Now they don't have enough people to sustain their economy. Now, if you want a very good summary of this New World Order or the World Economic Forum, and remember, the World Economic Forum is the organization that really started this New World Order. They're the ones that have promoted it. And the funny part about this, these organizations like this, they get money from your tax dollars. All of these organizations that are doing things to try to eliminate you and to eliminate me, their money is coming from governments. And the United States is the major donor to almost all of these organizations who are spending time trying to eliminate you. Anyway, listen to this.
Look around and look hard what's happening today. Don't rely on your legacy media because they won't tell you. They are part of the problem. They withhold the truth. They hide the scale of what is happening across the world. Ireland, Germany, France, Poland, Britain, Spain, Austria, Australia, and now even Japan and Osaka. Thousands marched through the streets demanding an end to mass immigration. This is no longer a ripple. This is a wave. The world is waking up. Western nations are demanding mass deportations. Native populations are rising. Nationalism is surging across borders. And the globalists are losing their control. Do you see a pattern yet? This is how you dismantle a civilization. Not with bombs, not with armies, but with something much simpler. Open the gates, erase the borders, invite the world in. Give them food, housing, and money that your own citizens don't have. And then make resistance illegal. Call anyone who speaks out a racist, a bigot, a Nazi. That is how you silence a nation. That is how you erase sovereignty. This is the globalist blueprint. Dissolve the identity of nations, outnumber their citizens, and replace their governments with a single world order. They don't need tanks when they can use demographics. They don't need soldiers when they have policies. The invasion is silent, but it is real. They call it compassion, but listen to their own words. One man in Germany admitted it. We have more children than you. In 10 years, we will outnumber you. We will take over. That is not conspiracy. That is the plan. But now the tide is turning. America saw through it when Donald Trump secured the border in 2 weeks, exposing the lie that mass migration couldn't be stopped. Across Europe, millions are in the streets. The fight for sovereignty is no longer isolated. It is global. This is war, not of bombs, but of demographics. Not of bullets, but of policies. A war to erase you in your own land. But the people are fighting back, and once awakened, they will not go back to sleep. My friends, we are all anonymous, and maybe, just maybe, the sleeping giant of sovereign nations has awakened.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. We have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's.
As I said, this is just a start, explaining to you what this new world order, this global reset, or this great reset is. And it's so important because if you look around you, you've seen signs. You saw the unbridled immigration. You have seen you've seen COVID and how everyone responded. COVID was so important because it was a test for us. It was a test to see how well we would comply with the most heinous governmental rules that they could present to us. And we failed it. We failed at COVID. But the great thing about it is that there has been a great awakening. Many people, because of COVID, and I was one of the ones, at first I fell for it, but it didn't take me long because all of the occurrences that were happening at one time, remember this, most things are pretty stable. When you start seeing a lot of instability in things, that's normally not natural. That's not organic. That means someone orchestrated it. And when I saw all of the things with COVID, the vaccines, the masks, the lockdowns, you couldn't go to church, you could not go to school, that I knew immediately that something was wrong. Anyway, keep your eyes open and your ears open, because I'm going to keep telling you what's going on, and you will recognize all of the events yourselves. The chaos that you're seeing in the United States, people fighting law enforcement, planned chaos. Just remember that. And please stay tuned and look at my next podcast. I will explain it even further, and as more things happen, I will keep explaining it. Thank you.